Right, I am live. There we go. Say it ain't so. What you mean, Nathan? You mean say it ain't so? How the chat shows up first on YouTube before it shows up on OBS on Streamlabs. How's it going, Jay? What's up, Equinox? What's up, Batverse? How's it going? Went to my comic shop yesterday. Picked up some good comics. Had some good comics this week, dude. Like, I was happy. You please unban me. It's been almost a year. What do you mean? You're here, dude. If you're banned, I wouldn't see what you're saying right now. How's it going, Venomzilla? But we got some good comics to talk about. Like, this is the first week in a while that I've had like a lot of good comics. I'm like, I'm happy about this. So yeah. Because like generally there'll be like one or two, but this week all the comics I picked up I really enjoy. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So just show you guys what I got, and also different music in the background because the Lakey inspired stuff has started to get me copyrighted now. So I guess Lakey inspired got like a record label or something, because like I've just been getting like old streams have been getting copyrighted. Old stuff with Lakey inspired music in the background has been copyrighted lately. So I'm assuming that, yeah. I've been doing good, Jay. How about you? Any good horror comics to recommend? Gideon Falls and Witches would be my two. Those would be my two recommendations for horror comics. Both are great with fantastic art. Which OBS do you use? I use Streamlabs OBS. What's up, Donovan? What's up, Jack? How's it going? Mr. DC Comics. I saw you in the Comics Aficionado stream earlier. How's it going, HR? So yeah, I want to talk about some comics because, like I said, let's just show you guys what I got from my shop. Two, which was amazing, by the way. Maybe the best issue of the Warworld Saga, and that's saying something because the Warworld Saga has been great. I love this issue so much. Batman the Knight, which is the Zdarsky series that's focusing on like Batman's origin from Chip Zdarsky, and probably skip it. Like, it's pretty good, but it's not like that. It hasn't reached that level of like, oh my goodness, you have to read it, but it's good. Like, if you're not like too just like burn out on Batman, it's worth it. Save for that entire stream. Oh wow, nice. It was a fun stream. We had a really good panel today. It was nice. Like, Robin number 13, I got this sick variant cover. I thought this cover looks awesome. I really like this variant cover with Damian, Batman, and Deathstroke. Good issue. Deathstroke Incorporated. This is an homage to Deathstroke #1 or Deathstroke Annual #1. I can't remember which one, but I have like the OG of this, and when I saw this, I ordered this variant cover. I was like, I gotta get this. So yeah, I really like that. I thought that was cool that they did the homage. Spawn Gunslinger, which I love Spawn Gunslinger. It's such a good series right now, and they have such cool covers. Was the audio randomly cutting out? Or is it still bad? I think it should be good now. I think it's fixed now. Sorry about that. I always have trouble with my cord microphone. Yeah, Rip Neil Adams. I saw about that. It's sad, but he led a full life, so you know, still sad, but legend in the comic book industry. But yeah, Gunslinger Spawn's really good, and Brett Booth is so great, and it's only $3, which is rare for comics now, especially of this quality. Like, you don't really get comics for $3 of this quality. It's really fun. And like I said, they have like the best covers. Like, I love the covers for Spawn Gunslinger are so good. Let me see if I can pull this up. Like, all these covers, I love like all the covers for this book. They always look sick. Like, look at this. And the interiors are amazing because it's Brett Booth. So yeah, Spawn Gunslinger. I'm not even a Spawn fan, and I really like Spawn Gunslinger. So yeah. Sorry, Nightwing issue number 91. I mean, it wasn't a bad issue, but it's a why does this exist issue. It's another, like, we just had a random 2-issue story arc with Flash for no reason. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Dick and Wally being together, but when are they ever going to advance the main storyline with the guy that rips people's heart out in Blockbuster? When is that ever going to advance? I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but it wasn't a bad issue, but it was a new Wolverine issue. If you like Deadpool, you'll like it. It's very much Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, which is, you know, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is pretty comic accurate for the most part, but it is definitely, like, very heavily Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. But I still enjoyed it. One of the better Wolverine issues we've gotten recently. This is the last issue of Dark Knight of Steel I'm reading. I quit at issue 5, but I guess I had already pre-ordered issue 6 because it was in my pull, so I wasn't going to just be like, no, I'm not going to get that since it was in my pull. I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it. I'll talk more about that later. And then these are the only 2 issues I haven't read because I'm behind on them. Berserker I'm trying to catch up on. I've only read like the first 3 issues. I got like all the issues though. I just got to read them all and catch up. Because I just got all the issues recently. Because I had read the first 2 issues like when they first came out, and then I just didn't read anything, and then I just got like issues like 3 through 8 like just this week, so I need to read them, so that's why I haven't read the new issue of Berserker. And then Thor I'm just behind on because it's been lame lately, so I haven't read the new issue of Thor. At least we're getting more Wally. Yeah, true. All right, so now let's go. Let's go issue by issue and break everything down. I guess we'll start off with Action Comics 1042. This is a great issue. We get to see a lot of this has been like Superman doing stuff behind the scenes to inspire people. There's more of a fight in this one. What's up, Adam? How's it going, man? Tom Taylor's terrible. Right? I have no idea why Twitter thinks his Nightwing run is the greatest thing ever. It's because his run is very much like the people that preach on Twitter. So it's for those people. Like, his run feels like it could have been written by Twitter, to be honest. Like, one of the things that really doesn't make sense is... So yeah, I think we can all agree that real-life billionaires generally are not great people. Generally speaking, they are not great people. But in comic books, you have plenty of billionaires that are good people, like Bruce Wayne, Oliver Queen. Like, you know, you have these plenty of good billionaires. And, like, Dick Grayson was raised by the best billionaire that is a great guy that has done a lot of great things with his money. But when Dick Grayson gets the money from Alfred and becomes a billionaire himself, he's like, I don't like this. Billionaires are evil. This is terrible. I need to get rid of this money. And it was like, Dick Grayson's like the last person that'd be saying that because he was raised by a billionaire that is a great person. Like, but that's like Tom Taylor letting real life stuff influence his book. Like, yeah, real-life billionaires generally tend not to be great people. But in this comic book universe, Bruce Wayne's a really good guy, and Dick Grayson was raised by him. So it makes no sense. Like, that... And he does that a lot with this book, where it's just like, here's stuff that gets you brownie points on Twitter, but as a story is incredibly boring and no one cares. That's what Tom Taylor does a lot. Besides, like, Deceased. The art by Bruno Redondo is the best thing about it. Bruno Redondo does a fantastic job. It's such a good looking book. It's like, it's a very good looking book. But anyways, we'll talk about Nightwing in a bit. Action Comics 1042 is great. Speaking of a good looking book, you got Riccardo Federici doing the art here, and it looks so good. And like I said, in this one we get a bit more action in this one, because the other ones, there have been action in them, but it's a bit more about Superman kind of inspiring the people of Warworld behind the scenes, and like doing stuff behind the scenes. How's it going, Soundwave? To where this issue was a bit more of him actually doing, like, physically doing stuff. And it was really good, and we also get to see him beat the crap out of the god-awful OMAC that Grant Morrison created. The OMAC that Grant Morrison created is incredibly lame. Like, really lame. Literally, the first thing the OMAC that Grant Morrison created does, like, when you meet that OMAC, is tell you its pronouns. That's how you know you got a great character. It's like, okay. It's a really great character right there. Don't do something cool or like interesting that makes me like the character. Just shout your pronouns. Yep, that's a good. And that's from Grant Morrison, who's a great writer. Well, was at least. Grant Morrison hasn't really written anything good in years. Sadly, he's kind of in that regime now. Like he's joining the Frank Millers of the world, where it's like once upon a time you were good, but now you've kind of like the beginning of his Green Lantern run was interesting, and then it got like super Grant Morrison-y and weird. And that was like the last thing I read from him that I liked. Like the Green Lantern run. I mean, not the Green Lantern. His Superman book was just terrible. So yeah. But Action Comics 1042 is really good, and you should read it. And it's so good. Action Comics is my favorite book out right now. It is so good. Read it, and this was maybe the best issue yet, and that's saying something. This is part 7. Oh man, the World Saga has been amazing. Let's talk about Deathstroke Incorporated. So this is part 3 and part 4 of Shadow War. Shadow War is actually really interesting. What the heck is going on with the Spider-Man comics? I didn't read it, but we got a they were talking about it on the stream this morning. Apparently we got a new Amazing Spider-Man #1, and at the end, MJ's with some other dude and has 2 kids that it's alluded to aren't Peter's. So I don't know about that. I don't really follow any of like what's been going on with Spider-Man. The only Spider-Man comics I've read like the past 5 years are what was it called? Life Story. That's all I read. I didn't read like any of the canon Spider-Man comics. Yeah. But that's how it is. Anyways. Deathstroke Incorporated and Robin are all part. Deathstroke Incorporated, Robin, and Batman are doing the Shadow War event, and I do hate when books do that whenever they have an event that spans across multiple books, but it's all Joshua Williamson doing it, and he's actually doing a really good job, and I am enjoying this story so far. So spoilers if you haven't read these issues, but you know they've been out for like a couple weeks now. These just came out this week, but the other ones, like the beginning of the stories happen, and like Joshua Williamson posts all about it on Twitter. It's everywhere. So there's your warning. But Ra's al Ghul was going to like turn himself into the government and like try to do some good in a different way now, and then he gets assassinated by Deathstroke. But it's Deathstroke wearing like the old like 90s Marv Wolfman getup, and you're like, that's interesting. Well, why is he wearing that? And he escapes. Like Batman tries to take him down, but he ends up escaping. And everyone's like, wow, why? What's going on with Deathstroke? And so the League of Assassins are like, Talia's really upset. She's like, I'm going to kill Deathstroke. I'm sending everyone after Deathstroke. But it turns out that wasn't actually Deathstroke. So it turns out it wasn't actually Deathstroke. It's someone else. We don't know who yet. My bet is I think it's a clone. I think it's a clone of Deathstroke because there's been a lot of clones and stuff. That's my bet. I think it's a clone of Slade, but who knows? We'll see. Yeah, Deathstroke Inc.'s really good. And so that's the storyline right now. So to catch you up on Deathstroke Inc., if you haven't read Deathstroke Incorporated, a lot of things happened. One thing led to another, and led up to Deathstroke like taking over like a society of supervillains, and so he leads his own league of like C-list villains. Like he's got Prometheus in there, and what's his name, the guy from the beginning of Nightwing Rebirth that was Nightwing's villain. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's got some like C-list villains in there, and he's leading them, and his thing is, I'm going to become king of the supervillains. And so he's got his own sector. And so you basically have like 3 different factions going at war during Shadow War. You have the League of Assassins, Deathstroke's like Society of Supervillains, and then the Bat Family. And also you have this new character that was introduced in Robin called Respawn. He looks like he dresses like Deathstroke, except he's like a little different, and he's a kid. And it's revealed that Respawn is a clone of Damian and Slade, like that Ra's al Ghul created him to do like experiments on. And so he's not of Damian, I mean of Slade and Talia. He put their DNA together to create him. And so I can tell from your thumbnail you've been hitting the gym. Nice, thanks man, appreciate it. Batman the Imposter, but replace Batman with Deathstroke. Kind of, yeah. I mean, the story's completely different, but like that whole aspect of it is similar in the fact that they kill someone. Grant Wilson may be back from Lazarus Pit. That's true. It could be Grant. Who are the current writers on Deathstroke and Superman? The current writer on Deathstroke is Joshua Williamson, and the current writer on Action Comics is Philip Kennedy Johnson. But yeah, so this guy named Respawn is revealed to be a clone of Talia and Slade. And so, which is kind of funny because, you know, in that's what the Deathstroke versus Batman storyline in Christopher Priest's Deathstroke was basically about, was, oh, is Damian Deathstroke's kid? Because Deathstroke had banged Talia. So there was that whole thing. And now he's basically got that with this. But Deathstroke ends up taking Respawn under his wing because he's like, I have a son to redeem myself with, because, you know, things went very bad with Grant. Things went very bad with Jericho. And so now he's got a third son. It's like, time to redeem myself. So he takes him under his wing, and everyone's trying to murder Deathstroke, and Respawn's alongside him. So they're like go into hiding because the entire League of Assassins are like, we're going to kill you for doing this. And then Batman's like, I'm going to take you in for justice for what you did to Ra's al Ghul. And yeah, so that's where we're at right now. But in the latest issue, Rose Wilson and Damian and Batman confront Deathstroke, and Deathstroke and Respawn are like, hey, I didn't kill Ra's, you idiots. And Respawn's like, yeah, I was with him. He did not kill Ra's. She was not there. Something that was funny is there's a bit of a continuity error in, I think, Deathstroke Incorporated. I can't remember one of these two. So like I said, the imposter Deathstroke that killed Ra's al Ghul was wearing like the 90s Deathstroke suit, but in like here where they reference that happening, he's wearing the Tony Daniels suit. So there's a bit of a continuity error there. But yeah, Shadow War is really good so far. One thing that I'm not super stoked about with Shadow War, though, was in Batman issue 122, I want to say. Whatever the part of Shadow War that involved the Batman book. In it, at the end, we get like a flashback of when Batman and Deathstroke had fought before, and Deathstroke was trying to kill Robin because there was like a contract on him. And Deathstroke was like mind controlled by Joker. That sounds really stupid and dumb, and I'm not excited about seeing that flashback, but it is what it is. Let's see. We can talk about Nightwing. Kind of reminds me of Under the Red Hood, but for Deathstroke. I mean, potentially if it is Grant Wilson, then yeah, it's kind of Under the Red Hood a little bit. Which is very possible. And it is Grant, but who knows? I hope it's not. I hope it's not Grant, but you never know. Nightwing, this is the second part, the end of a two-part story with Wally West. They take out like a group of assassins, and that's kind of it. Yeah, it's not a bad issue. It's kind of fun. But at the same time, it's like, why are we here? And also, Bruno Redondo isn't on this. So, like, the art's not bad, but it's not great either. It's like, whatever. They got a fill-in artist. But it's another thing of, like, damn, in, like, issue 78, I want to say, or 79, we got the homeless killer introduced. The guy that's ripping homeless people's hearts out for whatever reason. And now we're on issue 91, and that still hasn't been resolved. What the heck? It's been like a dozen issues. And it still has not been resolved. Like, what is going on? Why is Tom Taylor telling the story at, like, a snail's pace? And also, at the end of every issue, we always get, like, something with Blockbuster. He made Blockbuster pretty much like Kingpin, like Daredevil Kingpin. Where, like, I run this city, and this Dick Grayson guy's pissing me off. Someone needs to take care of him. And that's Blockbuster every issue. He never does anything. He's just like, someone needs to take care of Dick Grayson. Like, okay, why don't you just do something? But basically, at the end of this issue, he's told that, hey, Blockbuster, you have to get your hands dirty. No one will touch Dick Grayson. So, yeah. But these two issues were better than what we've been getting a lot recently in Nightwing, but still not great. And once they resolve everything, I think I might drop Nightwing. Once we finally get everything resolved with this homeless killer, I might drop Nightwing, because Tom Taylor is just falling off. Gunslinger Spawn's really good. I can't really say much because I don't think a lot of you guys have read it, so I'll pretty much be talking to a wall. Favorite Arkham game is Arkham Asylum. Thanks, Donovan. Appreciate it. Yeah, Batman Imposter's such a good book. Rip almost. The funny thing is also, though, like, I was rereading some early issues on Tom Taylor's Nightwing like a couple days ago. Yes, Nightwing does have a sister in the series, and it's the daughter of his sister is also like the daughter or stepdaughter, I guess, of the man that killed his parents, Tony Zuko. Is really stupid. When do you think Tom Taylor get to the point? I have no clue, dude. Probably in the next 3 issues, maybe. But yeah, one of the funny things is, like, as someone who lives in Washington, very close to Seattle, which has a very large homeless population, I see a lot of homeless people. In Tom Taylor's, in Bloodhaven, all the homeless people are complete saints, and they're just like children and like people that just really, you know, they just fell on hard times. I can tell you that's not the case in Seattle for 99% of them. It's just drug addicts shooting up heroin with their cheeks out in the like in the light rail station, which is like our subway, and just grabbing dirty needles that they see off the street and just taking dumps on the sidewalk. But in, like, reading the earlier Nightwing stuff, it's like every homeless person's a saint that just fell on hard times, and there's like a ton of kids. That's not my experience in Seattle, at least, but I guess Bloodhaven's a... That's sad that Bloodhaven's a better place than Seattle. But, Service Revs have some hidden family member now. Apparently, it's really stupid. It's really dumb. What's up, Logan? Yeah, the whole reveal of her, like, they do the reveal of, like, oh, she's Nightwing's sister, because if I remember correctly, Nightwing's dad, before he got with his mom, knocked up Tony Zuko's then to be like wife afterwards, and so that's how that's his, because it's his half sister. Yeah. Oh, the Origins boss fight for Bane is awesome. The Origins boss fight in Asylum's okay. It's mainly it's just a Titan, pretty much. You read back issues? Yeah, I read back issues, but I mainly read like trades. Like, trades is what I mainly read, other than like the week-to-week issues. I pretty much I don't really get back issues from my shop very often. I generally only get back issues when there's a convention, and I'll go and I go to a bunch of back issues. Because the problem is, if I get back issues from a shop, I'm going to spend way too much money, because I will just go through long boxes and just like get so many. It's a problem. So that's why I like just keep myself to trades and new issues unless there's a con. Because then if there's a con, it's like a special occasion I can splurge. Where if I just went to my shop every week and got back issues, I control myself. Did you read Death of the Justice League? Oh yeah, we can talk about that. I talked about that a little bit on Wes's stream today on Comic Aficionados. I did read Death of the Justice League. It's not a horrible comic. It's like, as far as comics go, it's not bad. But as far as a big event book that's the Death of the Justice League, it's not great, and it's not what it should be. Is Brett Booth art on Spawn better than Todd McFarlane? I would say so, honestly. I know that might be heresy, but to me, I would say Brett Booth's art is better, in my opinion. But yeah, Death of the Justice League, we can talk about that. The Justice League gets summoned by, like, the Justice League Incarnate, I think is what they're called, or whatever. I can't remember. The Justice League of, like, all the random people led by, like, President Superman from Earth 2, that Josh Williamson created. They get summoned there, like, oh, we need the help of the Justice League. And they face, like, some people. They face Pariah. And then they just get, like, zapped and all disappear and they're dead. And that's, like, it. And it's very lame. And Black Adam's the only one that survives because Black Adam's a member of the Justice League because of Bendis. And there was no build up to this. And you know they're going to come back and no one cares. The only thing that I'm excited about is Dark Crisis because we're getting, like, Deathstroke versus the Titans. So I'm excited about Dark Crisis because of that. And the art looks good. Also, something that's funny is, like, when they go there and they're going to fight Pariah and, like, this huge threat, they're like, I can't remember who said, like, Superman or Batman, someone's like, oh, we need to contact the Titans. Well, you know, let them know, take care of things while we're gone. And it's like, are the Titans even still a thing? There's, like, not a Titans book right now. You have Teen Titans, but I mean, like, the Titans, like, you know, Dick Grayson, Wally West, Donna Troy, like, all them. It's like, Titans aren't really a thing, so who are you contacting? What? I don't know. Any X-Men comics you read, and how's your day? My day's going good, thanks. I hope your day's going good, Ronaldo. Any X-Men comics that I read? Currently, Wolverine's the only X-Men comic that I'm reading, if you're talking about, like, currently that's coming out. But overall, yeah, I've read a bunch of X-Men comics. I've read, like, a lot of the different Wolverine runs over the years. Most of Claremont's X-Men, yeah. Deathstroke Boss Fight Origins is great. Shame about Arkham Knight, though. True. But also, story-wise, how they handled Deathstroke and Origins was stupid. Taylor's terrible. The whole thing is overplayed. They should have brought Kyle Higgins or Chuck Dixon. I 100% agree with that. But instead we got Tom Taylor, who had a solid first issue and then fell off a cliff afterwards. What happened to Green Arrow was funny as hell. Oh, yeah. Green Arrow gets crushed by Doomsday in Death of the Justice League. Green Arrow also wasn't even summoned. They summoned Black Canary, and Green Arrow had to, like, grab onto her. which was kind of depressing. Because it's like, oh yeah, Green Arrow's just some goofy guy, who cares about him? So that was a little depressing. But yeah, Green Arrow like saves the day, takes out a guy. I can't remember who he takes out because like I read the issue once and then just like wiped it from my memory. And he like it makes something explode. And he's like, haha, I saved the day, guys. And then Doomsday just clocks him and he's dead. That's literally how Green Arrow goes out. Like everyone else kind of gets like lightning zapped, sorta, like taken out by Pariah. But Doomsday got summoned as well, and he just squashes Green Arrow like a bug. It's hilarious. Yeah, the voice actor for Bane Origins is much better than in the Rocksteady games. Rocksteady games, Bane just kind of sounds like he's got roid rage, to where in Origins he actually sounds like a person talking, more sophisticated. Action Comics great, Tevya. I wonder if Wolverine the Patch is good. I picked up that issue, but I have not read it yet. I have it like I picked it up like last week. Yeah, right here. I have it. I just haven't read it yet. Did Doomsday escape the prison for Mr. Oz? Because that's the last I remember of Doomsday. I don't think anyone at DC knows, to be honest, Logan. I don't think anyone at DC knows, and they don't care. I want a Green Arrow one as well. Well, Connor Hawk's gonna take over as Green Arrow. That's why they made him asexual. Because they're like, oh, we can't have this guy that's a cool character. We gotta add a gimmick to it as well. It's like, okay, cool. But yeah, Spawn Gunslinger. Basically, this book is about a Spawn from the Wild West days that is severely underpowered compared to the other Spawns, and he has to like essentially be emo Spawn and cut himself in order to like use his like powers and stuff. So like they explained it in the early issue where like in order to fight who he needs to fight, like the demons and everything, he has to, or like the angels, I mean, he has to like cut himself and use his blood on like the bullets, and that's what kills them. And every time he does that, it makes himself weaker. And so he's just super weak. Like compared to the other Spawns, he is like the worst Spawn. But he's very scrappy, and he's like always getting his ass kicked and like still surviving and also kicking ass himself. It's a really fun book, and it's $3. And Brett Booth's doing the pencils. Pick it up. It's really good. I have not read Last Run. I need to. I'm wearing a TMT shirt under here right now. But, yeah. Why they have to ruin the Oz storyline? Because of Bendis, and he's an idiot. What about Chip Zdarsky writing Batman? That's what we're about to talk about. Even though it makes no sense for him to be asexual because he's a monk. Yeah, DC doesn't care about what makes sense or what doesn't. They just do what they want to do. Are Marvel Comics a lot more kid-friendly these days because DC owns them? Because Disney owns them. What have Punisher, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Moon Knight have been like comics recently? Daredevil, Moon Knight are really good currently. I don't know about Ghost Rider, and I don't know about Punisher. Punisher's currently like using knives on a mountain or something, I think. Like Jason Aaron's doing like a revamp, so I have no clue. But I can say Daredevil and Moon Knight are good right now. I'm gonna start reading the Punisher. Any good runs you can recommend? Yeah, you can read freaking what's his name's run. Like Welcome Home Frank is a great book. The Punisher Max series. Start with Punisher Max, really good. You can also, Chuck Dixon did a good run on him, like Punisher in Vietnam. Yeah. Do you believe Discovery will solve DC Comics? No, I don't think so. It's possible. I don't think so. I think they're just going to get things in line how they want it because they have a valuable property. They've just had idiots doing everything. Yeah, it is sad that Williamson got kicked off the book, but Williamson's also like writing 100 billion books right now. So taking Batman off his plate will probably help him focus on other things at least. But I'm hoping Arskin and Jimenez have a long run on Batman. I'm just waiting for I think was it the final issue, the third and final issue of the Swamp Thing from Jeff Lemire and Doug Mankey, which is like the only Doug Mankey book I know about right now. Doug Mankey's so good. But anyways, we got the origin book, Batman the Knight, which is Zdarsky's Batman book. currently until he's on the actual Batman book, but it's about his origin. This one is him going to a mountain and training with a dude, and it's good. It's nothing like amazing, blow your socks off, like you have to read it, but solid. The art's good. DC Universe Infinite really came out in the UK in recommendations for Superman storylines. I have so many recommendations. Superman Secret Origins, Superman American Alien, Jeff Johns' entire run on Superman, like Superman Legion of Superheroes, Superman Last Son of Krypton, Superman Camelot Falls is a very underrated Superman storyline. Superman Up and Away is my favorite Superman storyline. John Byrne's run on Superman with Superman the Man of Steel. Just so many. But yeah, DC Universe Infinite's pretty cool. Why does Marvel hate my favorite couple Peter Parker, Mary Jane? Keep treating my favorite character like garbage. Because that's what, because the fan base is split on Spider-Man. You have half the fan base that's like, hey, Peter's 30 now. I kind of want him to settle down. Still be Spider-Man, still have struggles, obviously. But it'd be cool if he had a bit of a happy home life, like wife, kids, you know, and like settle down that way. And then you have the other half of the Spider-Man fan base is like, no, I want his life to suck in every single aspect imaginable. I want him to have girl problems. I want there to be drama here. Like, that's why. And that's how it is. Yeah, Batman the Night, this one's just about him going to the mountain and training, and then, like, it turns out his master's, like, working for some shady people to get, like, funding and also to get left alone. And so he leaves early before getting taught, like, the super secret death blow, and he also makes a friend there, and yeah, and him and his friend are going to be going to wherever they go next in issue 5. You read any Star Wars comics, specifically ones from Dark Horse Comics, like the Tales of the Jedi series talking about there? I've read some pre-Disney Star Wars comics. I read the I can't remember what it was called, the one where like the Emperor was cloned and stuff, and like Luke was turning bad. I can't remember what that was called. I read that back in the day forever ago. I read the one that was like how the next Clone Wars Darth Maul book was gonna be. I can't remember what that's called, but I read that one. I've read some back issues in there, but mainly most of the Star Wars comics I've read was after Disney got them and Marvel started publishing them again. Dark Knights of Steel issue 6. I literally only read this because I had pre-ordered it prior to reading issue 5. Dan Mora's cover's so good though. Dan Mora is like such a great artist. But this issue was whatever. I don't really even want to talk about because I'm just bummed out by this series because of issue 5. I'm just like, whatever. Wolverine issue 20. Pretty much the entire issue's narrated by Deadpool, and we get some Wolverine Deadpool team up towards the end, and they're going to be teaming up for the next issue. So excited about that. It's very Ryan Reynolds inspired Deadpool, but I like it. And they're earlier on in the Wolverine series, there's a part where Wolverine went to a black market auction, and someone was auctioning off his severed hand. And so now he's trying to figure out how they got that and what's going on with that, and he wants to get his severed hand back. And so that's what story's kicking off. This is kicking off like a new storyline. And Deadpool's going to help him, because we saw that Deadpool has not been welcome on Krakoa, but wants to be a part of X-Force again. I like seeing all of Bruce Wayne's features. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I like Batman the Night, but I don't think it's reached that upper echelon yet of like an amazing book. I think it's really good, but I don't think it's like a, wow, you have to be reading this yet. But if you're looking for a good, solid book and you're not like hitting that Batman fatigue, then yeah, definitely check it out. It's worth it. Is Son of Death? Yes, Son of Dathomir. Yep, and Dark Empire. Yep. That's exactly it. But those were all the books that I read recently. What have you guys been? What have you guys been enjoying? Comics are you guys liking right now? We got Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness next week. I'm excited to see how Sam Raimi does in the MCU. See that next Saturday. Peter progressing as a character. Yeah, Marvel's always been afraid of Peter progressing. DC in some ways too, but DC's handled it better. Like, Wally West thankfully got restored with Linda, and Superman's with Lois. Even though, you know, because we have the new 52 to screw that up. So, like, DC's done a little better with that, thankfully. And Beyond the White Knight. Oh, man, I read the first two in trade, so I'm, like, having to do the same with this one. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I kind of want to pick it up in issues, but I'm like, I'm gonna wait like I did, because I love reading it all at once. Thoughts on the DC Discovery, the Discovery DC situation? I think it's kind of a good thing right now that Discovery's cleaning house and like taking care of things, and like, hey, we have Superman. Why is he not being used? Like, what is going on? Like, why are there? What are we on, the fourth Thor movie, and we have had one Superman movie since the first Thor movie came out, and they're on Thor number 4. Like, what? You're picking up Gambit by Chris Claremont? No, I'm not. I didn't even know he was doing a Gambit book. You reread a lot of Superman? Nice. What Superman books you read? Superman and Batman World's Finest. Good. I've heard it's really good. I read the first issue and it was okay. Dan More's art carried it hard, but it was just whatever first issue. I heard the second issue is really good though, but I have not read the second issue. Read Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin for the first time. Really like it so far. So that's such a great run. What's done with Jason Todd there is so good. I really liked what Grant Morrison did with Jason Todd, and also the dynamic between Damian and Dick is fantastic. His Batman Robin run's so good. How much creative control do you think Sam Raimi had on the film? Probably a good amount, other than, you know, there's still definitely things that, like, Feige and them were like, hey, you gotta do this. I think he probably had a decent amount. I doubt he would have done it otherwise. Like, Sam Raimi's not hurting for money or, like, really wants to do a Doctor Strange movie. I think he probably had a good amount of creative control. All the trailer footage was fake. Yeah, you get there after the first 10 minutes. Doctor Strange transports you to the Tobey Maguire universe you just got Spider-Man 4. Do you think we will actually get that Superman Family animated series we were promised years ago with the Discovery merger? I have no clue. I wouldn't surprise me if we eventually got it, or maybe something like that, but not that exact series. Bendis is truly fallen. Dude went from writing Ultimate Spider-Man, killing it with Avengers to destroying Superman. Oh yeah, he used to be really good. He used to do some great stuff, and now every time he's on a book, you want to avoid it. You don't want to. Just don't want to read it. It's bad. Whatever happened to the Man Tomorrow from Alan Moore and Lois Clark. Road to Rebirth also brings on some solid books there. Man, what Alan Moore did with Mr. Mystical Click was creepy in a really good way. And Road to Rebirth, such like, that filled me with so much joy when I first read that. Thoughts on America Chavez? I haven't read anything with America Chavez, but all I know is like everyone talks about how horrible she is. I don't know. I don't know why she's in Doctor Strange. It seems weird for her to be used in Doctor Strange. It is funny that it's banned in Saudi Arabia because they mention her having it's always funny whenever, like, in other countries, like, because everyone talks about how bad America is constantly, but then it's like, oh yeah, China made John Boyega smaller on the poster because they hate black people, and it's like, oh yeah, Saudi Arabia like throws gay people off rooftops, so they don't want this movie. It's like, yeah, America's not that bad in hindsight. Like, it's so funny, like, freaking seeing that stuff, though. I'm excited to see Mordo again. Set up to be... Oh, yeah. I heard JMD Ben Reilly Spider-Man run is really good. Bring out better than Spider-Man Beyond. I have not read anything Spider-Man so long. What's up, Jay Johnson? Any opinion on Teen Turtles last run? Because I read the series. I have not read the last run. I heard it's great, but I have not read it. I just haven't. I might pick it up when they it's all in the collected edition. Bendis actually revived Peter from the Ultimate Spider-Man universe because he felt he wanted to end it definitively than anyone else, and it was horrible. He already ended it definitively before. That sounds like a very Bendis thing to do. That sounds Bendis to a T. Do something very unnecessary because he felt like it, and he could. Currently reading New 52 Justice League Dark, and I'm surprised at how much I like it. The Magic side of DC is very interesting. I never read Justice League Dark, but standard New 52 Justice League was not very good till Fabok came on, and then it got pretty good actually. But I heard there's a lot of editorial stuff for the reason that book kind of sucked. Issue 2 of the normal Justice League was good though, when like Superman fights Green Lantern and Batman Flash. I liked that. That was fun. But for the most part, it was like a mediocre book until you had like the Amazo virus and then like Justice Dark Side War. Then that stuff I thought was pretty good. But yeah, I didn't read Justice League Dark. Here's probably one of the most underrated writers around. Why doesn't he get more main title books? I have no clue. I 100% agree with you there. Peter Tomasi's fantastic. He's one of the best. But I don't know why. Maybe he did something that an editor didn't like at DC or whatever. I don't know. One reason or another, he does not get a whole lot of work, even though he's so good. I don't know why. Read Red Hood Rebirth and Outlaws from the... did you read Red Hood and the Outlaws from Rebirth? I read later on. Like, I didn't read the beginning, but a little later on. I was just pissed that Scott Lobdell has, like, solely been in charge of the trajectory of Jason Todd since, like, the New 52. That's been very upsetting. Because Scott Lobdell, aside from Flash Forward, is, like, a very mediocre writer. He doesn't really do bad, but he doesn't do good either. It's just middle of the road, like... Well, this is a comic that exists. He doesn't really do much. So, yeah. But Flash Forward was great. So I wish we'd get someone that has a vision for Jason Todd, like a talented writer. Hell, give him to talk about Tomasi. Is the Suicide Squad game still coming out this year, or is it delayed? It got delayed. Yeah, it ain't coming out this year. The Gotham one is. The freaking Gotham Knights is. But Suicide Squad's coming out next year. I just can't wait for the Wonder Woman game, though. I couldn't care less about those other two games. The Wonder Woman game's excited for. Darkseid War is probably the best Justice League storyline from the New 52. Yeah, Moon Knight's a really fun book. I've not read Little Monsters. Yeah, I agree with Deathstroke Inc. It's really good. Monster Comics one of my favorite series of the last few years. Must reread soon. It's so good, and Doug Mankey's art is great. And we have that one shot with Joker at the carnival. That's so good. It does a better Joker than most people do. Like, I love that one shot at the carnival. I love that. Oh yeah, you're going to the convention meeting Tomasi. That's awesome. Sadly, hasn't been at Emerald City. Hickman's gonna be at Emerald City here. Interesting. I'm gonna start Star Wars comics. Are there any of the current ones good? Current Bounty Hunters is good. I can't say about Darth Vader because I've fallen behind several issues, so I don't know if Darth Vader's good. And I stopped reading the normal Star Wars book. I like took that off my pull. I could say Bounty Hunters is pretty good though. But you should read the Darth Vader run from Charles Soule and the one from Kieran Gillen. They both did great Darth Vader runs. You can read those. What's the best Marvel show so far? I mean, if you're talking about Marvel shows overall, Daredevil. If you're talking Disney Plus, Moon Knight. But like Moon Knight's had some, like the last episode of Moon Knight was really good, but overall Moon Knight has not been that great. In my opinion, I know a lot of people are jizzing over it, acting like it's the best thing ever. But Oscar Isaac obviously does great, and the Moon Knight suit looks awesome. But in a show called Moon Knight, we have not gotten much Moon Knight at all. And I hate his wife. Layla is hella annoying, and we got like 2 episodes that were like very focused on her. And there's also a part where like Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac did great, but there was like this scene where like everyone else in it was just like horrible acting. And also there was like this fight on a rooftop that looked like it cost $5 to shoot. Like horrible green screen, horrible set. It just looked awful. But Moon Knight's been all right. The last issue was really good, but we have one episode left. But yeah, none of the Disney Plus Marvel stuff has blown me away. sadly. I hope Obi-Wan's good. You pull up the Unreal 5 Superman flying demo? Yeah, in a bit I can pull that up. Was better. Tomasi's Joker issue is better than the entire Joker 1-3 Jokers. 100% agree there. The Joker one shot gave me Nightwing. Any opinion on Flashpoint Beyond, because I find that story to be maybe kind of confusing. I really enjoyed Flashpoint Beyond issue 0, but with Tim Sheridan being a part of it, I am not that hyped. But issue 0 was really good. Read the Hulk book by Cates. I've heard mixed things. I read the first issue and then I was like, oh, Hulk's a spaceship, okay. And I didn't pick up any. But seeing the Gary Frank covers are like so cool. Oh yeah, the one person that like had their trailer today. It's gonna be at Cleveland Expo. Think the Obi-Wan show will be good? I have no clue, dude. I hope it's good, but I have not much faith. See, I'm kind of hyped because the trailers and Ewan McGregor being back, but I don't know. Yeah, they did tease a Suicide Squad game at the end of Origins, and then Rocksteady's doing. I don't know. Thoughts on Thor: Love and Thunder trailer? It looks exactly like I expected. Not really excited about it. You usually go to the conventions for one day? No, I'll generally go for 2 or more. I think, because for me, 2 works really well because I'll dedicate one day to like bringing my comics there to get signed and meeting creators, and then the other day to just going through all the vendors that are there, like getting comics and stuff. I generally like going 2 days. So 2 days is really fun because, like I said, one day for meeting like all the creators and getting everything signed and like looking around the stuff that I brought, and then another day for just freaking buying comics and like going through long boxes and everything. That's what I like to do. Because I used to do it in one day and like it was too much. I think we'll go over episodes so Jake Lockley gets more development, but it's not though. We literally got 6. They're not gonna surprise us with a 7th episode. That's not how Disney works. I mean, we might get a season 2, yeah, but as far as like this season, it's done.
Pizza time.
Oh, you gotta, and the notification's not showing up, but cool. Thanks for the $5, Mr. DC Comics. Are there too many ground level vigilantes being mistaken for actual superpowered heroes in the MCU? I mean, not yet. We haven't really had too many ground level guys in the MCU. Like, unless you count the Netflix shows, which until those like get rebooted, they don't really count. Like, as far as the actual MCU, not really. Like, no one's really street level in the MCU other than now, like Moon Knight. Like, Hawkeye wasn't really even street level, you know, with the threats he was taking on. He was just a part of the Avengers fighting Thanos and everything. I don't think so. Not yet, at least. But man, Daredevil's so good. I'm afraid when they bring him back, they're gonna screw him up. And I'm not excited for that Echo show at all. I hated Echo in Hawkeye. I thought the Hawkeye show was all right, but Echo and Hawkeye was horrible, and I'm not excited for her getting a show. I have no clue why she got a show. That makes no sense. And they're gonna have Kingpin and Daredevil be a part of it. I have zero hope for Kenobi, especially after some details got leaked. Yeah, I've been staying away from the leaks, so, but I don't have much hope for it. Which is a better flick in y'all's opinion, the Batman or Spider-Man? It's hard, dude. Like, I guess. Can't we get a serious Thor movie? We did. It's called Infinity War. Infinity War and the first Thor are the only like good Thor stuff we've gotten in the MCU. And the journey he goes working now. Okay, it's working now. Yeah. But like I was saying, Infinity War is the best Thor movie we've ever gotten. The first Thor is good, and then Infinity War is amazing. Like Infinity War, the journey he goes on in that is so good, dude. Like that's the best Thor movie. Sadly, we have sadly now he's just a joke because Taika Waititi's getting him. I don't blame Taika Waititi because that's what he does. Like you get a guy that does comedy and makes silly stuff, and you put him on Thor. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? Like, I don't blame Taika Waititi for it, because that's what you got. You got what you paid for. Like, that's what he is. Stop putting him on Thor. That's the MCU's fault for putting him on Thor. Kingpin was wasted. Hawkeye, yeah, he was. Like, he just beats the crap out of what's her name, Haley Steinfeld, for like a couple minutes, and then just gets blown up and then gets shot. Like, oh, okay, you brought him back just to get blown up and shot. That's cool. But yeah, Thor was cool for a bit. But now, Ragnarok sucked. Ragnarok was just a comedy. Well, Doctor Strange 2 introduced the X-Men. Well, introduced the X-Men? Well, we already know Professor X is going to be in it, but I don't know how it's going to affect the X-Men. I don't know if Disney's going to like go full greedy mode and be like, we're going to do them exclusively on Disney Plus instead of like doing a movie. They might do that to like get more people on Disney Plus. Be like, we got X-Men. Because like before everything blew up with the MCU and like comic movies, the X-Men were big. Like the X-Men were like cultural icons before all that, just from their comics and then the animated series. Like the X-Men were big. So Disney's got a huge property there. Zemo was the best part of the Falcon Winter Soldier show, because that show sucked balls. And Zemo was actually the only decent part of that show. That show was horrible. I saw someone tweet out like a fight scene on that show being like, why is no one talking about this being the best fight scene in the MCU? I'm like, because it's not. What are you talking about? Oh, Kingpin's definitely still alive. It's going to be like the comics when she shot him. He's still alive. Do you think once Venom comes in the MCU, it'd be darker than Sony Venom? No. MCU has a knack for making everything like silly. Oh no. Do you have hopes for MCU Fantastic Four? Yeah, I think they'll do Fantastic Four good. Can't do any worse than the other interpretations have gotten them on the big screen. Yeah, it wasn't earned at all in the show. How they just had him get shot. It was I did not like Echo in the show. She pissed me off. When Clint beats the crap out of her as Ronin, I was like, yeah. Beat her up. Kill her. Do you think some people at DC are trying to screw Johns because they keep undercutting his books like Joker War and 3 Joker, then the Heroes in Christ after? It definitely feels that way. It definitely feels like someone has it out for Jeff Johns. Because he's done so much good, and then they're just like, cut him. That's... When Twitter starts talking about Jeff Johns, I want to strangle each and every one of them. Because they're all like, he's a horrible person, and he ruined the Snyderverse, and he enabled Joss Whedon. It's like, oh my god. Shut up! Actually read the stuff about what he said to Ray Fisher. He's not a racist or any of that. Like, it's just Snyder fans being dumbasses. Depending on Sony's plan for Spider-Man side characters like Kraven the Hunter, Sony's just grasping at straws. They're like, we have all these Spider-Man characters, let's use them. X-Men Teen Titans crossover was the best crossover. It was a good crossover. Because it's like Snyder fans on Twitter that just like read the headline of an article and Ray Fisher accusing Jeff Johns of being racist because Ray Fisher was not treated well by everyone, but if you read the articles, he is very much gives off big diva energy. Like, the dude has done nothing has 0 star power and like wants to be treated like he's Brad Pitt or something. Like again, like there's things like Joss Whedon treated him very badly, and like there are other things, but like also like I read all that stuff because I was like, what? Because I read the allegations of Jeff Johns, and so like I went and I read all the actual stuff, the details of it. I was like, oh, this dude's just very much a big diva. like his thing about Jeff Johns, he was mad because Jeff Johns told him to play Cyborg like Quasimodo. I was like, okay, dude. Oh, I agree that Jeff Johns stay away from the movies. I have no clue what the hell is his problem when it comes to the movies, as far as like he's the best comic book writer in my opinion of all time. I love his work in the comics. When it comes to the movies, he's hit or miss. Like he helped with the Green Lantern movie, he helped with Wonder Woman 1984, horrible. But he also helped with the first Wonder Woman, which was good, and he also helped with Aquaman, which are good. And he helped with the Titan show, which is horrible. He's all over the place as far as the big screen goes. I have no clue about all that. But as far as like comics, he's like impeccable. Like the worst comics of his are like 6 out of 10, which is rare, and his ceiling is 10 out of 10. Like his books are so good. It was run by the executives, not Jeff Johns himself. Yeah, true. But like the people on Twitter that are just like go off acting like they know anything about Jeff Johns, guys are just a bunch of idiots. That's Twitter in general. Twitter is a cesspool. Like the stupidest takes of all time. Twitter. Like oh my goodness. At least I saw some people getting clowned on for once, because I saw some idiot that like all the time tweets about Snyder's perfect and everything he does is amazing. They like put out a tweet that like, oh, Discovery wants someone that cares about Superman. Well, Snyder made Superman the center of his universe and cared about him and has planned for him. And then someone like tweeted a screenshot of like the leaks where it showed that Snyder's plan for Superman was to have him get cucked by Bruce. And they're like, here's Snyder's plan. Oh yeah, Shazam. Read Current Flash. I've heard the Current Flash is great. I just haven't checked it out yet. I'll probably read it in trade. Do you think they just bring Johns in last minute, try to save bad projects with the Snyderverse? I've heard some of that. Like, that could be true. I have no clue, dude. I have no clue how all the behind-the-scenes stuff, like, creatively is. Like, who has say on what. And 3 Jokers. Exactly, yeah. And neither Earth 1 Volume 3 or 3 Jokers are bad. They're both solid books. If you say they were written by anyone else, you're like, oh yeah, this is a good book. But you say it's Jeff Johns and you have a much higher expectation. So that's why those books aren't as good. Like, if that book was written by Scott Lobdell, you'd be like, wow, Scott Lobdell stepped it up. This is a good book. But because it's Jeff Johns, you're like, eh. But, yeah. That's just how it is. Flashpoint's gonna be bad. Dude, if Ezra Miller keeps assaulting people, that movie might never happen. I hope he just keeps, like, going out there causing problems. I mean, I don't want anyone to actually get seriously hurt, but I hope Ezra Miller keeps being a dumbass, so that way DC eventually just is like, oh, we'll just take the L and not release this movie. That'd be cool. I don't think anyone wants that Flashpoint movie. And Ezra Miller is doing his damnedest to make sure no one sees that Flashpoint movie. It is hilarious, the fact that he's just going around assaulting people. I don't know if you guys have caught up on the drama with him, though. Like, there was some TikTok girl that he was banging, and there's drama with that, because she said he was abusive and whatnot. And, oh my goodness, there's DMs with her that are just hilarious. So she also identifies as they, them, like Ezra Miller does. And she said that Ezra Miller, like, when they would be having sex and stuff, would call her a good girl and disrespect her pronouns, and she was upset about that. But then in the DMs, she was referring to him as a he and not a they, them. So both these people that are pissed that, like, I'm a they, them, refer to me as this, are ignoring the other person's preferences and pronouns, and referring to them by their biological, like, how they were born. And it's like, it's hilarious. Like, you guys don't even respect this. Why should anyone else? Like, it's a circus. It's hilarious. But I read that on Twitter, and it was so funny. It is so funny. Like, it is hilarious. Oh, man. Ezra Miller is such an idiot. Battle Superman Sons animated movie. I hope it's good, but who knows? I don't know who's actually doing it. Just film Ezra Miller's fights through him just threatening to murder people. After discovering murder, it should merger, not murder. It should 100% be Jeff Johns in charge. 100%. I wish. A lot of people want Grant Gustin as the Flash. I don't want Grant Gustin either. Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin are both bad actors. The difference is Grant Gustin isn't a horrible person in real life like Ezra Miller is. But I don't want Grant Gustin as Flash either. There are rumors that we're going to get Grant Gustin if they fired him for Flash to play Barry. Hope that's not true. Yeah. Johnny Depp would be great in DC, but as what character? It's hard to say because he's older now. Because he's like 50 or whatever. He's in his 50s now. He doesn't act like Barry at all. He acts like an idiot. He was pretty cool in the Snyder Cut, aside from a lot of the idiotic stuff. And he has a weird ass run where he like throws his wrists. Who should Johnny Depp play? Any opinion on Paul Dini taking control of DC Comics? Like, you, as in hypothetical, or like you heard that's happening? I don't know. Like, my mind goes to a villain for Johnny Depp. But I don't know what villain. Depp can take over as Mara. Perfect. Maybe Johnny could be Lobo? No, because he's not physical enough. He will not get, like, jacked for that role. He couldn't be Lobo. I don't know who I'd have him play. Maybe Ra's al Ghul? True, Ra's isn't a terrible choice. That's actually a good choice. Ra's is actually good. That's a good idea, Nathan. I would take him as Ra's. He's already kind of got the hair sometimes. He'll, like, have that hair, similar haircut. Imagine Ezra's run from the cops. Yeah, I think Johnny Depp as Ra's al Ghul. Good. That's a good idea. Trickster. I think Ra's is definitely a good idea. I don't know. But I think I'm getting close to ending the stream here. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about before I end it, before I call it quits and go get lunch, because I am hungry and I have eaten like pretty much nothing today. Any opinion on Batwoman getting canceled? It's about damn time it got canceled. Show looked horrible. So, yeah. That's the thing though, was it Aaron Eckhart, I think is the guy, named the guy who played Two-Face and Harvey Dent in Dark Knight. So underrated because of Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, he did perfect. So it'd be hard to follow that up. Like, he was perfect as Two-Face. Comics by Perch Music? I don't know, dude. I literally just searched up no copyright music, and this is what popped up because the Lakey inspired stuff's getting copyrighted now. So I have no clue. Maybe he uses this. I have no clue. Don't end the stream. I gotta go get food, dude. Prime 1 Studio new statues, dude. Those statues are always so cool. Here, we can look at those real quick. Prime 1. No. But they're always so expensive. Buy last spot stand. Editor. Okay, there's some anime girl. Okay, glad I don't have this up on stream. Trying to look at Prime 1 Studios. There's just some anime girl statue that. Oh my goodness, there's just a bunch of different Jurassic World ones. Golden Week sale. They have a sale. Is there like new products? Okay, I got new products. Oh, here we go. All right. Just a bunch of like $1,000 for an Ellen Ripley one. That Grant Gustin Flash looks horrible. That does not look like him at all. Oh man. Imagine if Terminator was cool again. Ooh. Swamp Thing is $500 off. This is the sale they're having. Dude, this is so expensive. Who has the, like... What? I need to just, like, track down some nerd that has this and just break into their house and steal it, because I ain't buying this. I ain't spending $1,600 on a Batman statue. As cool as it looks. Wait, why is it black version? Black version. But this one's $1,300. This one's $149. Oh, this is a full Batman. This is just a bust. Okay. Looks cool. What do you think of a Green Arrow movie based on Mike Grell's Green Arrow one? Who would you want to direct it? I personally won't repay Batman. I'd be down for Mike Grell's run. Longbow Hunters, like that'd be cool. Thanks, Vigilante. Yeah, I would be down for like Longbow Hunters like movie, or even like an HBO Max series on Longbow Hunters would be cool. That's a little long to do for a movie. I think for like and also Green Arrow is a character you could do on like HBO Max because you don't need like a big budget for that. Man, these statues are so expensive. Prime 1 Studio Showcase 4. Okay, let me look that up. Oh, there's an announcement. They had a 4-hour stream about it. Oh, they're doing Zack Snyder's Dark Side is part of it. Ooh, there's a new Green Lantern. I'm just skipping around the stream. Drake. Oh man, that looks sick right there. But that's like $2,000 probably. That's cool. That Future State Batman looks sick. But man, that is so expensive. I can't justify spending that money on this stuff, dude. It's all Batman. Oh man. Oh, the G.I. Joe stuff's not as expensive. At least there's that. Stuff on sale is expensive. Why is it not loading? No! Alright, well I guess that's a sign. I'm mad that they didn't get Mike Grell to come back on Green's 8th anniversary issue. Yeah, they got some like that issue wasn't bad, but they had some randoms in there too, like they always do. And every anniversary, like a lot of the anniversary stuff's good from DC, but then they'll also be like, here's a creator that never had anything to do with the character that we're throwing on there. It's like, oh, okay. That's it. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thanks to everyone who showed up. I appreciate it. I am working on some videos. No time limit at all for when they'll be done, but I am working on some stuff slowly but surely. And yeah, thank you guys for showing up, and I will